Why Kim Kardashian warned Kanye West about burning bridges in Unearthed phone call. Welcome, everyone. Today, we're diving into a story that has recently resurfaced from the past, but is creating a fresh wave of conversation. It centers around Kim Kardashian and Kanye West, a couple whose relationship has always been in the public eye, often blending glamour with moments of tension. What we're looking at today is an unearthed phone call from 2018 that sheds light on their private dynamic during a turbulent time in Kanye's career. In this call, Kim issues a strong warning to Kanye about burning bridges, and the exchange reveals much about their differing perspectives, not only as partners, but also as individuals navigating fame, business, and personal values. Let's go back to the context of this call. The year was 2018, and Kanye West had just been making headlines for his highly publicized visit to the White House and his outspoken remarks that divided public opinion. It was a time when his career was evolving from being solely about music to taking on more political and cultural conversations. While some admired his boldness, others criticized him for alienating fans and collaborators. In the midst of that storm, this phone call between Kim and Kanye was recorded, and years later, it's now resurfaced through a documentary, giving us a glimpse into what was happening behind the scenes. In the conversation, Kim's tone is both concerned and firm. She tells Kanye that his dramatic behavior and the way he's distancing himself from people in the industry could have severe consequences. Her words carry a warning. If he continues on this path, he risks isolating himself from the very network that helped him achieve success. She stresses that pushing people away and dismissing professional relationships could backfire in ways he might not anticipate. According to Kim, he was on the verge of losing everyone around him. Kanye's response is striking. He pushes back, saying that he doesn't care about the music industry or even his own work field in the traditional sense. To him, much of it feels like a slave business, especially under the control of large corporations and record labels. In his mind, rejecting these ties is a form of freedom, a way to take ownership of his creative destiny. To Kanye, cutting these connections is not about loss but about liberation. But Kim takes a very different stance. She counters by reminding him that working with companies and building professional relationships doesn't equate to being enslaved. It's part of the system that has allowed both of them to grow, thrive, and create the lives they now have. She emphasizes that she is not about burning bridges with companies, implying that maintaining stability and long-term relationships is more valuable than abrupt independence. One of the most emotional parts of this call comes when Kim warns Kanye, "You're gonna wake up one day and you're gonna have, nothing." This sentence alone speaks volumes about her fear that his actions might leave him without the support, resources, and community that had been instrumental in his journey. Kanye, however, rejects this outright, responding, "No, never tell me I'm going to wake up one day and have nothing. Never put that into the universe." His reply shows just how deeply he rejects the idea of failure or loss, instead holding on to his belief in his self-reliance and vision. This clash in perspectives highlights a recurring theme in their relationship: Kanye's rebellious, uncompromising approach to life and art versus Kim's more pragmatic, calculated, and protective outlook. Kim has always been known for her ability to build partnerships, sustain business ventures, and cultivate relationships that benefit her brand and her family. Kanye, on the other hand, has often positioned himself as someone who challenges the system, even if it means taking risks that could damage his career or reputation. What makes this unearthed phone call so fascinating is not only what it reveals about their marriage at the time, but also how it foreshadows the path both of them would later take. Kanye, in the years after 2018, did in fact face moments where his outspoken actions and controversial choices led to severed business ties, broken partnerships, and strained relationships. Kim, meanwhile, continued to build her empire, aligning herself with major companies, expanding her brand, and reinforcing the importance of stability over conflict. In hindsight, Kim's warning feels eerily prophetic, as though she saw the storm ahead long before it unfolded. It also shows that behind the glamorous red carpets and magazine covers, there was a real struggle between two very different worldviews. Kim wasn't simply a supportive spouse standing silently by. She was actively trying to ground Kanye, to protect him from himself, and to remind him of the practical consequences of his actions. Kanye, true to his nature, refused to compromise on his principles, even if it meant going against the grain. What's striking is how much this phone call reveals about their communication style. Kim approaches the conversation with logic and concern, warning him about the potential fallout. Kanye, however, responds with passion and defiance, unwilling to accept her predictions. This dynamic, one person trying to anchor, the other trying to soar free, became one of the defining tensions of their relationship, and perhaps one of the reasons they eventually parted ways. For fans and observers, this unearthed moment gives us a raw and unfiltered look at the couple. It's not scripted, it's not polished, and it's not curated for show. It's a genuine moment where fears, frustrations, and beliefs collide. It shows us that even in the most famous households, the struggle between security and freedom, between caution and risk, is very real. Now, looking at this with the benefit of hindsight, we can see that both Kim and Kanye had valid points. Kanye's desire to break away from traditional structures and assert independence reflects a visionary mindset, one that refuses to be controlled by the industry. At the same time, Kim's warning about burning bridges highlights a timeless truth. Relationships, partnerships, and networks matter. Success is rarely achieved in isolation, and even the most creative minds need support systems to sustain their vision. As this phone call makes its rounds today, people are left wondering, was this the beginning of the unraveling, or just another chapter in their long, complicated story? One thing is certain. This moment from 2018 gives us a clearer picture of the internal battles that shaped not only their relationship but also their individual journeys. So, what do you think? Was Kim right to warn Kanye about the dangers of burning bridges? Or was Kanye right to reject the system and follow his own path, no matter the cost? This story is a reminder that the choices we make, whether to build or to burn, to preserve or to disrupt, shape our futures in ways we may not fully see in the moment. Thank you for staying with me through this deep dive into Kim Kardashian and Kanye West's unearthed phone call. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to subscribe, share your thoughts in the comments, and let me know what you think about Kim's warning and Kanye's response.